What's the deal, gang? What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? How is everybody? Coming up on the hourly closure. I was looking for some buys here about 15 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. Yeah, moved up 15 pips here as I was hopping on to the stream. Let's do a little breakdown here as we have a daily closed bullish yesterday. Today we already broke the daily low, previous daily low. Now we're coming back up for a daily flip. We got some range to come up. Funky 4-hour here. Got some time to come up, but it also has time to reject here. Okay, let's mark off our all-time highs here. Mark off the support we're bouncing off of. And mark off the range we're breaking back into. So, chat, we might have positions here to begin the next hour here. There's 45 seconds left. There's news in 30 minutes. But if we can get a nice little bottom wick here to start off the next hour, next hourly candle, next 30 candle, we can look, I think, roughly this area right here. If we can tap that area before making a top wick, we might look for buys here. So lock in here for the hourly open. 15 seconds. Okay. Yeah, how do we close? Oh, it closed like right at it. Let's see, can we come down for a bottom wick here? Guess not. So that's not what we want to see. We want to see a bottom wick initially because your advantage here is a flip. Now that we're making a top wick. Yeah, we didn't want that top wick at all. Like if price was going to break down and pause the upward momentum, this would be the first area where it would do that. So probably waiting on the news here. Most likely. I mean, we'll see. There's a possibility we have entries beforehand. But the way we've opened up now, I think a wick to 78.4 and then a rebreak at a highs, that's your only option. Or that's my only option right now. Four-hour fake out. Yeah, I don't know. I think the fake out would be if we close back bearish. tapped it on the dot, huh? Interesting. Pay trade me memberships necessary? Not unless you're streaming. Yeah, tap this level on the dot, but after it made a top wick, this level is not the one I want to see. Here we got retail sales here at 8:30, and after that, it's all price action. So news in 25 minutes here, gang. Hold on a sec. So quiet today, huh? Oh, we already tapped this area, huh? Wix just needs to leave for a split second, and we tap what we need to tap. Motherfucker. Here for the red folder strategy. Otherwise done for the day. That's nice. Wow, what a good entry this was. Oh, a bunch of people at the Zoom door. What are you guys doing? Just forming a line? You took it, 12 pip buy. Congrats. Yeah, I don't know. I stepped away to go say my kids were leaving for school, so I walked outside, give them all hugs. Yeah, I came back. This shit was already up here. Damn. Should have been a trade in already. All right. Oof. That 4 hour looked like it loaded up, right? To push heavy. So this was the advantage point here, the flip. Once it flips, chance it could come back down in range here. There's a little level here. We're gonna wait for a closure at this point. I left you outside, my bad. There's a few of you outside still. New highs coming. Yeah, I really wanted this bottom wick entry. That's what I wanted. I don't want to settle for an entry on the rebreak at a highs here. Maybe this is what pushes the 4 hour. Yeah. It's 10 pips to fill the wick, 12 pips to fill the wick. The 5 close here, because if the 5 closes, this is a 15 closure in 2 minutes. Yeah, it's gone here. All right. Very slow here today. We don't even have 400 people. Where is everybody? Come on, gang. Wake everybody up. You're usually not here this early? No, I'm usually here at 8. It's just the last week I've been here at like 8:15, 8:20. We almost had positions here 10 minutes ago, but I stepped away. Through 15 closure. La candle. We come back down. Top wick can come back down. What are we doing? Or are we breaking the 4-hour highs and driving up, pushing up? $45 minutes for the 4-hour. News here in 14. Yeah, we wait here now for news. Never broke the 4-hour high. 15 closed like candle. This one made a top wick. Highly likely comes back down in range. We will see. $12 minutes. All right, you guys already know the deal. News 8:30 in about 12 minutes. We will spend the first 5 minutes after the news candle on the 1-minute time frame. We will look for a push in either direction. We will look for a pullback and a rebreak of that news push, of that initial push on the 1 minute. If we don't get a rebreak of the 1-minute push on the 1-minute time frame in the first 5 minutes after the news, we will go up to the 5-minute once that first 5-minute candle closes. Okay, and we will look for price action, rebreak of the highs or lows, or a candle flip. These 15-minute are long. Yeah, it'll drag a little bit. There's room. Ranges are pretty big, right? So if we'll see a push and we see a clear pullback, you should have confidence in the rebreak of the push. Almost 420 viewers. We get to 420 viewers, and I'm gonna pull a 420. Hey, W Hero. Good shit. Yeah, there's people, plenty of people here that don't trade like us, but they still take bits and pieces to make it their own, right? Somehow applying their trading style. All right, there we go. We got 420 viewers. 9 minutes to go. I'm gonna go take a pull of that crypto crown I kind of like, and we're gonna trade some news here. Ideally, these numbers come out in the same direction. Ideally, we don't want a mixed bag, but because we're in the middle of a range, and to get a mixed bag, just, you know, we could see a whipsaw. Yeah, 8 minutes. Do what you gotta do. Go to the bathroom right now. I'll be locked in about 8 minutes. Or if you're gonna go smoke right now. Make your coffee. Why is it still raining? Whose idea was this? Sick of this rain. You out of papers? Habibi, come to 7-Eleven. Oh my God. $7-Eleven doesn't sell papers? You know what? Now that you say it, neither does mine. Damn. They don't sell any fire wraps. They got a good chicken Caesar wrap. Birthday puffs. Yo, it's freezing in here. What is going on? Who fucking with the thermostat right here? Yeah. I don't know, Chad. It was cold in here. My thermostat was set on Ice Age. There's hot, there's cool, and then there's Ice Age mode. This shit was set on Ice Age. Four-hour now rebroke its high. And back to bearish. Bearish, bearish, bearish. Oof, packed house here in the Zooms. 4 minutes, chat. 4:20 till the news drops. CPI for CAD. Oil should move too. Don't mute your... Oh, I'm not muted. Don't scare me. We're getting close to news here. Getting close. I love your elevator music. Yep. Me too. Thank you. What's news gonna do? Well, we're gonna watch it push, and then we'll hop in on a rebreak. I'm wondering if we can tap this area. What's the daily low here today? Okay. 70. Yeah, I'm wondering if we can tap this closure for news. If we see a whipsaw, right? And the first thing it does is tap this area. Can you look for a buy to get that pullback, right? If you were to get like a strong push down, can we then look for a buy just to take advantage of the wick if we tap the current daily low. Right? Can we then do this and be part of, I guess, a wick here? Even if it continues down, like that's a pretty decent advantage point there. 35, 40 pips. All right, let's see what comes down, because it might tap this area and just take off. All right, and go up, go straight up. Ooh, moving. There we go. Wow, what a point. It just did exactly that, chat. Did you see that? If we had positions here, it tapped that on the dot. That's what I was talking. Can we be part of that pullback? Wow. That was incredibly fast. How did the news drop? Didn't drop yet. Well, if we did exactly what we spoke about 30 seconds ago, it's 43 pips. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna take a buy right here as we rebroke the high. Just took a buy. My entry a bit late, 78.5. But as it rebroke the high on that flip, I took a buy long position. 78.5. It bounced off the daily level. And a daily level will typically give this a drive. Wow. What an interesting position this would have been. And I remember I spoke about it before, but very briefly. It was very briefly that I spoke about that. About setting those limit levels there. And then we're straight back down. So mixed bag here, right? Good news and bad news. Yeah, if this continues down to re-break the lows, we might close positions. Wow, daily low. That's what should have been the entry, right? That's what we spoke. But then what would stops be? Would it be this low down here again? It literally tapped me in and went straight down. There's no, look at that 5. There's no top wick on there. Look at that one. There's no top wick. Went straight back down. Yeah, don't look pretty now. Looks like it wants to re-break the low to continue down. And I don't know if we can have an entry there. We might have an entry the other way, but I don't know. I think I would rather, I'm going to end up closing instead of re-entering. Wow, what a daily. Yeah, chat. If it re-breaks the low, I'm gonna close out and enter positions to the short side, I think. Pay attention here. This is the low I'm looking at possibly re-breaking. Right, so we might see stops hit and then a re-entry. It's 2571.43. 2575.43. 71. Five just closed here. If it re-breaks the low here, so I have a stop here. If it re-breaks the low, I'm gonna take a sell. I'm gonna look for sells. Look to go short there. That's the 5-minute re-breaking the lows. The news push. Ugly. But if it flips here, I'm gonna take a buy right now. So I just took a buy as it flipped bullish. Looking to come back up to 2577 area, and if it re-breaks the low, then you know it's really no harm, no foul. It's a really small stop. Took a buy there. And stop just got hit. So this stop just got hit for me. Closing out here, and I'm gonna take sells. Ah, no, wait for me. Wow. All right, I took a sell, but I got slipped. By the time I clicked sell, I clicked it at 2571.4, but it got activated at 21,699. So I took a sell and a rebreak at a low, but I got activated here. 25,699. Wow, what a shit activation. Look at that. Instead of here, it's 20 pips there. Oh my god. I stacked this position, chat. I got 5 orders here. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 positions here on the short. That should have been 6 positions, 20 pips each. Oh well. Doing too much, Wix. Doing too much. Trying to manage it here, trying to manage it off the broker. No, we rebroke the low, so I think we will still come down. Taking 2 more positions right here. Target is these wicks. Let me update that. So I got 2 positions here. I got one right here, right where price is at right now. I got one that was opened a bit late. It came out to 18 pips later than I needed it to. But we're pushing down here. All right, gang, I'm gonna close full of my positions right here. It came out to 8 positions at roughly 30 pips, 25 pips each. Give me 1 second. I want to do the math on all the positions. Oh, this position, yeah, we closed out. Sorry, give me 1 sec. I'm doing the math on all the positions on the stacks. 115. Okay. Okay, so I'm down 39 pips total from there. Right, 71, 37, 108, 24, 132, and 27 is 159, 115, 44 pips, I'm sorry. So I'm down 44 pips from that news trade, from the buys and the sells. I learned quite a few things today. I learned that next time when we set up like this, we will have a buy limit off the daily low. That's something that I've been noticing and that played out to the T today. So if once we tapped that today's daily low, it just swung up. Even though that wasn't the move, it pushed back up 50 pips. So that daily low was perfect. And the next thing I learned was not not that I learned something, but the fact that the rebreak at a high or the low still works, still king. That could have been way better. I got activated once we broke this low, right? By the time all my positions closed out, once it rebroke its own low, right here, once all my positions closed out, it just activated me 20 pips later, right? That would have been maybe 40 pips per position or 25 pips per position. $8.45. I will be trading here. A sell stop next time? No, I think a buy limit was in order here. We also had, we tapped the daily level. Typically when that happens, you tap the daily level and you break the high of that candle, it'll drive. It didn't. Look what it did. It closed right here with no top wick, right? It broke the high, entered, and it just shot straight down. No top wick, nothing. So I understand where I'm going to manage risk. And I understand what I'm looking for. And watch it play out now. The daily low. But typically when that happens, when it's a whipsaw like that, that's the reason I mentioned it before the news played out. Right? When we see news like that, a set of news, and we see a whipsaw to the daily low, you'll typically continue to drive after. Oh, there will be more positions. That's almost a guarantee. Break of the push made sense here, right? The initial push down. Break of it also made sense. How are you? I'm chilling. Looks like a bottom wick. No, I think we're going to continue down on the next 4 hour. Down, I mean, at least to fill this wick. If we didn't close the buy, you'd still be down. Dude, by the time my buy closed, like my buys and the closure for the buys and the sells were on the same position. When it closed out the buys, it opened up my sells 16 pips later, 18 pips later. Do you change bias? No, I understand that it's not easy to change bias when you're newer, but with experience, you'll realize where you can take the sells, where you can take the buys. Yeah, sometimes you see things that make sense, you know, and you weren't playing them for news, but they make sense, right? They start as more candles start printing, as you get more data available to you. Yeah, obviously it gets annoying, right? You taking losses, but they're so far and few between that, like, I'm not bothered by them, right? 40 pips is not much. That's a day of trading. That's probably 1 or 2 trades, but the value I got out of what happened there is pretty significant, right? I know what I'm going to pay attention to with the daily lows next time on the news, and we're probably going to start adding more strategies to the news positions just based on the way that played out. It was his late birthday loss. No, like a birthday loss is like 300 pips. 200 pips. That's a birthday loss. 40 pips is basically a break-even trade for me. It is what it is. Dollar amount of my 40 pip loss, 4,000. Roughly 4 grand. You feel you got lucky, boy, by losing 40 pips? No, I feel like I executed on what made sense to me, what was logically, fine in my head, right? And then as we rebroke the low, I executed on that. I didn't get ideal entries, right? I mean, we could have had 8 positions by 18 pips better. We could have been up 40 pips if we got activated on the rebreak, not slipped 18 pips. But that's not what's gonna make or break you, right? The idea is that you execute on, and your risk management is gonna make or break you. Too soon to panic. There's a lot of trading left. A lot of trading left. 30 is about to flip, I know, but we have 7 minutes here for the hourly and the 4-hour candle. Be patient. Don't try to fucking revenge trade and get your 40 back here. Yeah, I'm not looking to get 40 pips on the next trade. We probably will, we'll probably make it all back on the next trade, but I'm not looking for 40 pips on the next trade. Revenge buy? No, we're going to see in 6 minutes what we're going to do. Maybe even 36 minutes. Chat, do we combine those positions into one overall loss? Right, because there was a win and there was a loss, but the overall is minus 44. So I think we're just going to keep one loss at minus 44 pips. Because it was a loss of 159 and a win of 115. When we got time, try the amaze. No, thank you. What determines time frame closure you're waiting for? The timing, the candles, whatever's falling in line, whatever's not, that's probably the time frame you're waiting for. You want all your different time frames to tell you the same story. Or to line up that eventually the story begins to make sense, right? On every time frame. Stop loss hit, late entries. I just did the math off off the signal channel, because they get a lot of feed from the terminal, and the signal channel already has the pips. Yeah, I don't know how funding companies work. I don't know why they do 2 phases. No clue. Two minutes here for the 4-hour close. To bypass whoever passing on luck. Yeah, but then why not just make it one combined? Yeah, I think one combined might make sense. Two minutes here. 2 minutes. Wait for this 4-hour. Let's see if we hold this 30 level here or not. So the 4-hour here closed bearish, but it closed bearish respecting the most recent support. I think this 4-hour is going to need to make a top wick. So what we're going to do right now, chat, is take a buy. Right, I just took a buy as that flipped. I'm looking to make a top wick here on the 4-hour. Right, I'm looking for, at the very least, this area, 25.79, for the market to make a decision. I see the 5s made a bottom wick here, right? It grabbed some orders. So I think there's room to come up here as the 5 grabbed orders. It didn't close with a top wick, but it did grab some orders. And I would expect the 4-hour to create a top wick before coming up. And the next resistance here, before coming down, the next resistance here is 25.79. I know it closed bearish, but it closed bearish respecting the most recent support. And it pulled back up in range. It closed back up in range on the 30. The 30 respected the area that runs across the board here at 25.77.343. That's the area I really wanted to see if we're going to respect it, come back up, close above it, or if we're going to close below it. If we closed above, first thing we did is make a bottom wick. So you'd expect the 4-hour to create a top wick before making a decision. Okay? So that's what we're looking for. Got a small stack here, not a big stack, but it's small. Advantage point here, roughly 25.79.2. So that's roughly 13 pips. And I won't be looking for more positions below this low. If this low gets broken, then it should be heading down for the daily. If you break that previous 4-hour low, and if we're gonna look for pineapples, they will be at 25.74.5 area. That's where I will look for pineapples. So that 30 pullback and close back in range, really key here, really key for me. New York Open will determine a lot in 30 minutes. Well, I expect that flip to happen by then because I expect then and 9:30 to be driving, right? So I'd want to rebreak at a highs here. We want that top wick to be created somewhere, somewhere here in the next 25 to 30 minutes before NYSE. Because think about it, if it drives up before NYSE, it's probably going to continue the drive for NYSE. You can either dump or push it. Well, you're in the middle of a range. You can do both. It's highly likely that both can work here, but you're going to need to grab orders based on that opening. Well, typically you would need to grab orders, right? We've had a strong rejection to this downside. It's a range down. Yeah, we left a long wick, but it was a strong push up to finish out the hourly, which tells me the 4 hour is going to need to come back up and create the top wick before coming down, right? This was a strong rejection to come back up on the 30. Is it the 5 minute? Never rebroke the high. It was just a 5 minute. Why my MT5 chart says totally different 4 hour close? Because you're on a different broker, bro. You want a different broker. And every broker has different rollover times, which means they have different 4 hour closes. Right. Alright, I'm gonna take another position here. Just took another entry right here, right where we are. We got a level that runs across the board here to the left with wicks and where we bounce off of. So that's our first initial pineapple area. So I got 6 total positions running here. 3 positions on the first entry, 3 positions on the second entry. Gonna close out this first entry here at break even. The second entry, rebreak of the highs. All right, closing it here at 15 pips, all 3. Boom. So just so that was $10, $11, and $13. So 34 pips. Buys plus 34. Right, we're gonna count the total of the stacks, or we're gonna count how much the market moved. What do we count here? Because it's multiple positions, right? There's 3 up here, three down here. So I think we're just gonna call the total stacks. So yeah, we closed that first position once it hit BE here, and the second position we closed at there were 3 positions at 13, 11, and 10. You always take 3 stacks? No. No. But I was just a little more confident here. It really depends on the position, right? It really depends on the setup, and I was a bit more confident here that we're going to make a top wick here. Hold on, let me flip the tape. And plus 34. Yeah, I felt like I have to announce the stacks because yesterday I didn't announce that it was stacked, but I counted the stacks in my pip count, right? So it came out to 30 some or 40 some pips instead of it really went like 12, right? But because of the stacks, that's how much we got. So that's why I was rewatching. I was trying to make a reel yesterday. And I was rewatching the stream. And I'm like, yeah, that looks kind of cringy if you don't call out the stacks, but you count the stacks. So every time I'm going to stack, I'm probably going to call it out here so we can count the stacked positions. Yeah, I was looking at it yesterday. I was like, damn, we're counting stacks, but we only did a pineapple on stream. I saw somebody say something in the chat about that, but I didn't read it when it was happening live, so I didn't realize. But I was like, yeah, that's kind of cringe. We're either gonna announce stacks, or if we don't announce them, we're not gonna count them towards stream profits. Usually you take one or two, yeah. 90% of the time I take two. Still part of Devious. I'm Wix 9, man. I'm part of the 10 pip gang, and today we are minus 10 pips so far. We're moving up. Yeah, I know. We're gonna make that top wick for the 4 hour. My issue is, okay, what are we gonna do for 9:30 NYC Open? The 5 closed weird here. See, it closed respecting that previous. Wow. That news, where would our stops have been? Let's say if we had a buy limit for news. Where do your stops go at that point? I think if we had them at this level, if we had a buy limit, that's what I'm going to look into. A buy limit here and stops probably below the overall range. So then you're looking at what? You're looking at a 30 pip stop, but your potential here was 50, 60 pips, even more if it ended up driving. But yeah, it's just so out of the ordinary because then that limit, that buy limit, would have to be placed before news drops, right? Because it would have wicked in on the news. Very interesting. Why get out of the trade if you know the target? I don't know the target. The advantage point is the flip, right? Once I take that pineapple on the bottom wick, the advantage point is the flip. My goal at that point is to not have risk on the table, right? So that's why this closes out at break even. The first position closes out, so there's no risk on that, right? And now you're sitting in a good position on the second one. But I stacked it, so I just closed it. I don't know we're going to drive. I just know we're going to make that top wick for the 4 hour, which is what we just did. Then after this, I don't know if it's going to come back down or pull up. But 9:30 will bring volume. And if we're closing above or back into a range at 9:30, highly likely it's going to fill the range. And if it's going to fill the range, we'll have more opportunities to come in. A buy limit during news could get slipped. If we had a buy limit, shit, there was a chance that that would have drove straight down, straight through, right? And hit our stops. But I'm just thinking in terms of risk to reward. That's a 30 pip, right? You're taking a 30 pip stop for like a 60 pip reward, and it's not going to sit there and play around to let you know, and you're not going to sit there for an hour. It's going to play out really quickly. You're either going to be right or wrong, and it's 30 risk 30 pips for 60 at that point. It was like logically it makes sense if you think about it. Like every that I'm now that I'm voicing it out, right? It makes complete sense. There's a reason I discussed it beforehand, because that's something I've been noticing. And if it keeps playing out, right? If I'm noticing it, and if it keeps playing out, wicks going to positive RR. No, think about it. Like if shit makes sense, then it makes sense, right? And we've been seeing it. I've been seeing it. We've been seeing it play out. Last few red folder news, it tapped the daily level and then rejected. Try it out with half risk. I mean, yeah, I'm slowly gonna start incorporating that into the news strategy. So the 4 hours created a top wick here. It's coming back down. Let's see. We don't want to stick around in this range by 9:30, right? We want to be out of the range by 9:30. We want an indication of volume. This way when NYC opens, we already had volume. Now we just need to continue to drive. Yeah, we understand there's a lot of range to the downside, right? We spoke about this a minute ago, right? When we were in the trade. Range to the downside, closed bearish, but the last momentum to close out that hourly was bullish, so that 4 hours should make a top wick, right? So we just followed logic for our trade. With this indecisive 1 hour candle, more likely to have sell bias as we're closing lower and lower. Yeah, I mean, the higher time frame doesn't mean you can't play the pullbacks or you can't play the obvious wick that needs to be created. Now, for the day, no. No, I'm not done for the day. Couldn't you just up the lot size and take one trade? The way signals don't get confused. Wait, music? There is music. Oh, no, there isn't. I don't know why it's muted. Sorry. NYC? NYSE. 26.2K? No, I see 26.1. Yeah. I think upping the lot size is next. It gets confusing for me too. Like there's a reason, like the reason it took a while to open up the sells as we broke the lows was I had to close out 6 positions or 5 positions of, wait, no. I had to close out 4 positions of sells, right? and then enter 6 positions. I had to close out 4 positions of buys and enter 6 positions of sells. Yeah, I think if we just had a higher lot size, it's a psychological thing. I don't know. Like, it's, you get comfortable with a lot size and it just gets, it psychologically it's like, this is double my risk. Yeah, it's just, you get so used to seeing certain numbers, right? And like you have a certain comfort zone when you're trading certain numbers. And I've been in that comfort zone for so long. I think I need to break out of it. Honestly, I've been on the same lot size for a long time. Still buys? No. Everything's closed. We closed everything. I'm waiting 8 minutes here. I want to see what we do. Right, because the 4-hour did close bearish, right? This thing can still just drop down, re-break the lows, and continue down. Right, that 4-hour closed bearish. Right now, it's just the smaller time frames have respected support. Why my one loss can wipe out all my profits of a month? I've had that happen multiple times. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't switch up strategies. I didn't go looking for, something else that's missing. No. You have to, everything works. You just got to make small adjustments on what you're doing instead of just, because you switch up, instead of just, being all over the place. If something didn't work once, that means it doesn't work. No. There's a probability, of how many times it works versus how many it doesn't. You shouldn't be strategy hopping. You'll be lost in the sauce, right? As soon as you take a loss, you're like, oh, I need to now incorporate fibs, or there's something missing here. No. Maybe you just executed wrong. Maybe you didn't notice something, but there's no need to, scrap everything and start over. No, you have to make small tweaks and adjustments as you go. That's one thing I would not do, right? Is switch up the strategy. But Grizz, if your loss wiped out your monthly profits, that means you're probably around a break-even stage, right? Because you had a whole bunch of profits and they were wiped out. You're back to where you started, break-even stage. So I was saying that the other day. That's the the difference between break-even and profitable is really risk management. And that includes, pineapples, stacking, closing early, playing with house money for stops to break even. All of this, all of that will play a role in whether you're break even, and determining whether you're break even or or profitable. And if you've been winning for a month and you took a big loss, there's probably a tweak you have to make in that loss, right? Go over the loss, let the market play that out again, and play it out live as it's happening. So rewind that position as it's happening, go through your thought process again and see if your thought process is different just based on the timing or based on how you feel. Will you have more clarity now that it's played out, and can you realize where the better entry would have been? Good risk management, stacking 8 positions. Yeah, it's part of risk management. So you have to know when to, went to really push it and pedal to the metal, and went to pull back, right? I've had a loss, you know, that was 300 pips, and then my next win was 10 pips because that next position wasn't the position that you stack on. It was a regular position, right? I'm not trying to revenge trade. I'm just taking them as they come. A lot of times you'll have a big loss and a big win, and you'll be like, oh, you're just revenge trading. You're holding to make that win back. But no, the big loss is because of volume, right? Because the ranges are massive, volume's big. So now if you're taking a trade, you know, very close time-wise and to that previous one, that volume is still there. So you'll typically get pushes there too. It was 440 pips to be exact. Thanks, Oscar. Appreciate you, bro. Thanks. Where would we be without Oscar? Given the structure is identical to the last hourly candle, 4-hour closure with Doji, how would you read that? Because we've kind of already moved up and down here. You'd need to break the highs and lows here to get further up or further down. Oscar said. Full 40 to be exact. According to my calculations, nah, I like Oscar. That's funny. Oscar the Grouch. Bad morning mentally. I have those. I have those where, like, no matter what I do, it's just like feel a weight, feel a burden, right? You have those mornings. Time. Give it some time, you'll feel better. I think it's bipolar. Well, Farzo got your meds. Can you tell me when to withdraw when that amount is significant enough, right? You're not looking to, you're not looking to get lunch with this money. You're not looking to pay next month rent with this money, right? So it's got to be significant enough, right? This isn't rent money. You're not supposed to be playing here with rent money. So your withdrawal, you're not looking for a $1,000 withdrawal, right? That's money you've invested in education to learn this. So when it's significant enough, I don't know what, 10 grand, 20 grand, when it can actually make a difference in your everyday life. FOMC tomorrow. No, that's not today. That's tomorrow. Yeah. I will try. Yeah, I want to trade FOMC. I think I'll be home. 30 closed there. Closed above this area to the left. Yeah, I'm skeptical of this price moving down right now because we didn't close below this area to the left. 2575.5. What's the word? I'm waiting. I'm skeptical of this push down. I want to either break the lows here or pull up back in range. I'd rather pull back up in range. Yeah, so what I was looking is for the hourly to re-break the high, and because that 30 closed bearish, once we start re-breaking the lows, we would have looked for a sell stop. But the first thing we did was come down and break the previous candle low, and we didn't close below this area. So there's a chance this come down with this area and flip bullish, right? At some point, we might end up looking like this on this 30. That's why I'm a bit skeptical of these sells. I'm gonna take a sell right here. just took a sell as we made a top wick on the 5. I expect the top, the bottom wick here to be made on the 5 at some point, so I just took a sell. Expect the 5 to make a bottom wick. $575.5. Can we get a bottom wick? Can we grab some orders below? Go break even. I'm gonna close half here at 11, and I'm gonna go break even on the second position. So I closed half at 11. Let's see if we can push a bit. All right, closing full here at the fill of the wick. All right, so just closed full here at 15 pips. All right. So there's that. Congrats, everybody. Just close this. W day? I'd say that's W day. And don't be sitting there thinking, oh, what could have been? We shouldn't have been in the news. We shouldn't have had buys there on the news. This is a game of thousands of positions, right? One position does not make or break you as a trader. It doesn't determine your career or the outcome of, of your future here in the industry. Oh, holy shit. What the fuck's going on? My spread's jumping like crazy. My spread's like 4, 6. There's volume coming in here, gang. Just fill the range, right? That's your advantage point. Yeah, don't this is a game of thousands. Like I said, in the long term, you won't even remember today's positions. But the only things you'll remember is the value and the takeaways, the things you learned, right? Things you can apply in the near future on your next setups. But you're not going to remember these positions for the simple fact that they're not as important as they seem to be right now when you're trading. What's important is your sum, right? The combined total of everything you do, right? And that is a game of years. That is a game of thousands of positions, thousands of breakdowns, thousands of setups, and thousands of those internal conversations with yourself, right? Spread jumping is the only volume indicator I'll ever need. Yeah, I mean it's really cool. Like you'll see it. You'll see spread just widen when you have volume coming in, and you're like, all right, volume, volume, volume. Right? You'll also see it on the broker. You probably won't see it here on TradingView, but on the broker, you'll see your candle will start twitching, right? Can you explain the last trade? Yeah, we've created a range, right? The wick is a range, and the first thing we did was open up with a top wick, and I just took the entry once I saw the price coming up, understanding that we have an advantage point to fill the wick, and we have a support here at 25.73 that we're looking to tap. That's what I played, just to fill of the wick. Right? We're not on, we're not invincible. But you don't need to be invincible here. No one is. You got to realize that no one is invincible in these charts. If you get something wrong, doesn't mean you're doing something wrong, right? Well, it doesn't mean you're on the wrong track. That's what I want to say. If you get something wrong, it doesn't mean your trajectory is down. Your trajectory is off. No, you could be doing the right things. You could be, you gotta crawl before you ball. You're just taking baby steps to get there. On the higher time frame, didn't it already fill the range by tapping it? Yeah, but smaller time frames will flow into the higher time frames, and the higher time frames will flow into the smaller time frames. So while the higher time frames still need to retest the highs and lows, right? You get a range, right? You get a resistance, you find a support, you fill the range right here. That range gets filled, right? And the same thing is happening on the smaller time frame. If you look right here, you created a high, you've retested that high with that wick, you filled that range with that wick. Right, so it's also happening just on a smaller scale, and as they start flowing into each other, you can have one time frame fill the wick, and then the next one will fill it on its own time frame. And that's when you're like, all right, the 5 just did that, the 15 did that. You're probably now looking a few 30-minute candles from now, the 30 will do that. Probably in a couple of hourly candles, or in the next hourly candle, the hourly will do that. And as that starts falling in line, you start slowly going back to the smaller time frames, and you're saying, all right, so now can I get an entry on the 30? What if I zoom in more? Can I get an entry on the 15? Can I get an entry on the 5? Now that the 5, 15, 30, and the hourly have all done the same thing, can now I go back down the time frame to get an entry? I'm not done for the day. No. I don't know if we'll have more positions, but I'm still looking for positions. I'm still looking to see how this plays out here. Remember, I said the previous 30 didn't close below this area, so we actually drew this out, that we might hit the support and flip bullish. Right? We drew this out about 15-20 minutes ago. Now that it's flipped bullish, can it drive up? If it can push us up, maybe that's direction for the rest of the day. would need a lot of volume. This plus this whole move needs a retracement, right? We need to come back here at some point. And I will tell you this, chat. You can probably even set it right now. But when this starts happening, right, as we retest the highs and we start breaking down here, I will have a buy limit right there at the wick, at that wick. We will see something there. Whether the market comes down and does this, like, right, as it's coming down, maybe it does this and, right, it does that and then it eventually pulls back. You'll see some kind of reaction there, whether it pulls back and flips or whether it just pulls back and then re-breaks the low. We don't know, but there will be a reaction at this area. So whenever that starts happening, maybe the end of the week, by the end of the week, maybe next week as we're coming back to tap 25, what level is that? 25, 30, 31 areas, we'll have a buy limit there. Multi-time frame confluence? Yeah, because think about how much confidence you're going to have when the 5 and the 15 and the 30 and the 1 and the 4, when they're all doing the same thing at the same time, when they're telling the same story. The confidence in that trade should keep out all those emotions and thoughts that sway you, right? That helps you get out of your own way. Literally, sometimes you got to get out of your own way because you'll enter a position with no confidence and you'll start going back and forth on it. Like as it's standing on, let's say it's not moving, as it's standing on one spot, you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have entered. Maybe I should. But when you have confidence entering a position, those thoughts don't creep in because you're like, all right, this is playing out on every time frame. Like that's it, you know, it just makes sense everywhere, all across the board, right? You're not gonna have those intrusive thoughts, and that's the worst battle, right? You got to tell that inner bitch to shut up and get out of your, get out of your head. And the only way to shut that inner bitch up is to have confidence in a position. And that confidence comes with seeing a lot of blues in your terminal and having all your time frames line up. A lot of trading is mindset, right? So you don't want those low quality thoughts creeping in. And those happen with low quality setups. I think Wick's still waiting on that bullish push. I'm waiting to see if we can get out of this little range. Past second phase 1 challenge, calling a day. W. You see how you're getting two different stories here. You got a 30 flip and a drive up, right? The hourly hasn't flipped yet, but the 15 could be making a top wick before coming down. So they're telling two different stories here. But at some point they will line up, and typically if you see this, oh, like is it a top wick to come down on the 15? Is it a bottom wick to come up on a 30? Typically, if you wait just a few candles, they will line up both in the same direction. Right? They will line up at some point. All the time frames will line up in the same direction. And if you're patient enough to just execute on those, you're gonna have a really, I don't want to say easy time, but you're gonna make things simpler on yourself. Did the minus 44 buys break your winning streak record? Yeah, I think we were at like 20 something trades in a row, but it doesn't matter. None of it matters. Like once again, I don't go into the store and be like, hey, I'm on a 20 winning streak. No, what matters is the money. The access to the cash that you have, right? How liquid are you? Right? What's your favorite superpower? Make money. Okay? That's all that matters. We don't care for winning streaks. We don't care for the win-loss record. It's irrelevant. Would you swing, trade, or range? No, Sam. That would go against the purpose of swing trading. You have any previous experience with the feds? Yeah, but not that kind. Not that kind of experience. Yeah, we're going to trade FOMC. We're going to do the same thing for news. We're going to wait for a push and a rebreak. Nine minutes here for the hourly closure. Wife is getting a settlement check from an accident last year. Would you be open to helping me start a business? i.e. car rental, Airbnb? Helping you start a business? I mean, do I have equity in the business? Sell me, let's go. Come on, Shark Tank time. What's your idea? You can tell me here, nobody's gonna know. How would they know? They're not gonna know. Where are my sharks at? Let's go. Pitch me an idea. Bulletproof condoms. Oh, man.
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
To go down before coming back up, like you said before about retracement to the area you marked up, where you mentioned taking buys back up. The area I marked up was for the news push. What do you mean? Oh, over here to 2588 areas? Not really a swing. Price will get back here at some point, but will it come back there after dropping another 600 or 800 pips? Or it's going to come back up now? What is it? Actually, I have a shoe brand. If you're serious, hey, if you guys have great business ideas, I'm always down to listen and get involved. But they gotta be like, you gotta know what you're doing, right? Like I know nothing about selling a shoe brand. You know what I mean? So you have to know what you're doing. Wants to take his wife's money and Wick's knowledge to start a business. Hey, fake it till you make it. Or that's not an example of fake it till you make it. Business idea, chicken nugget pizza.
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
Okay, see, this is what you wanted here on that previous 15 candle. If that came up here and rebroke the lows on that previous 15, I think we would have had more sells here. But we've already done this. It's actually not bad. Four minutes here for the hourly. You want to close outside this range, right? You want to close outside of 73 to 79. What a valuable session. I don't know about you guys, but for me, like my personal takeaways, it's really, really valuable session. Another session in the office for you. Every trading session is valuable. Yeah, all the time on the charts is valuable as long as it's the same time every single day. You're gathering data. Yeah, I'm not gonna remember the trades we took today, but I will remember how the news candle played out. Right? Two minutes here for the hourly to close. I don't like the fact that we're respecting this area. It tells me we might see some more ranging within here. Learn, don't quit. Yeah. That's a good point. The issue people have is really putting pressure on themselves while they're learning, right? You're supposed to, take the stress off your shoulders, not be more stressed out. So you shouldn't be trading with rent money. You shouldn't be here learning and not having income, right? All of that adds extra stress. You shouldn't be learning on a funded account with extra rules. Like all of that adds extra pressure to your situation. It makes trading that much more difficult. Mindset, right? This is where you're required, right? You have to make high quality decisions, because if you don't, it really affects your livelihood. So I'd say the easiest way not to quit is to trade with less pressure. So make sure you have JOB funding secured in place. Use liquid money to trade. I don't know, man. 20 seconds here for this 1 hour. Not a big fan of this 1 hour candle. Respecting support here. 15 no bottom wick. That's an ugly 15 if I've ever seen one. Fuck a bottom wick. It's gonna go straight up. I don't deposit too much. You would deposit whatever you want, whether it's 100,000 or it's $100. You should be learning at 0.01, right? If you have $1 million account but you don't know how to trade, your lot size should be 0.01. Somehow I always take the losing trades but miss the winners. I used to say that too. How come I always catch the losing trades and whenever I see a winner, I don't take it. I don't trust it, right? You've been hurt too much, bro. It's like being in a relationship with a really toxic girl, right? A toxic woman for a long time, and then you get out of that relationship. I mean, you're not jumping right back into one. You've been burned, even if they're good relationships, right? Even if there's quality there. You've been burned too much, and the way to get over that is just to start seeing blues in your terminal. So you got to get extra selective. You got to be like, all right, if I was going to go on a winning streak and my life depended on it, and I need to get a couple of wins in a row under my belt, right, to get some confidence back, get a little more selective. Wait a little. Every time I enter, I go straight into drawdown. That's not what determines if your trade's gonna work or not, you know? Probabilities matter in different situations, right? The candles don't always move the same, right? But price points tend to tap the same areas. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Honestly, it's the thing. You can't, like, if you see your positions, you can't discriminate between, like, if your position is your position, right? Your stats give you, you know, your data gives you stats on the, you know, combined sum of all of those positions that you take, your positions, right? So if you took a trade and you got a loss or you didn't get the result you wanted, doesn't mean you should avoid it now, right? Because in order for those stats to be correct, you have to take all your positions. In order for the outcome to be close to what your sample size data says, you have to take all your positions. You think those thoughts don't, like, I get it, right? Like, look, my first position, like, our news trade was minus 44 total, right? And if I go back 5 or 6 years when I started trading, I would sit there and be like, damn, minus 44. So if I enter another position, like, how much can I win? And I don't think about losing. And then next thing you know, you're like, you open the position, you go straight into drawdown. You're like, oh shit, minus another 30 piece, close. But why, right? Why did I close? Because of a previous result that I had and the way that that my position opened up here? No, there's a whole setup, right? And price doesn't move in a straight line. It can move up, down, bit by bit, but you still have your advantage points to play. And if you know what your advantage point is, and the market hasn't really gotten there yet, and you're not wrong yet, right? It hasn't broken the lows or driven against you towards the point where you're like, all right, I'm clearly wrong here. You got to have the confidence to let it rock. You got to be confident in your position. And that confidence comes with time, sample sizing, and getting wins using that strategy. 0.01. You won't care when you lose $1, but the lesson learned will be a lot more valuable than the dollar lost. Right? Because you could, the same 10 pips, the same lesson you could get within the next 10 pips, win or lose, right? It can be, you can pay $100 for it, or you can pay $10 for it, or you can pay $1 for it. It's up to you how much you want to pay for the lessons. You guys are trying to pass the graduation exam while being a freshman, right? Can't come into the new school as a freshman and all of a sudden take the graduation exam. We just called this 2 no bottom wicks. Watch go straight up, and that's what it's doing. They're trying to go straight to the test. Yeah. Like, if you only knew how valuable the advice of trade 0.01 is, if you understood that, you would probably, by the time, the key is really to have funds left over by the time you learn how to trade, right? Most people spend everything that they have on learning, and then by the time they get really good or a little bit good, some kind of good, by the time they find some kind of profitability, they're already like tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in the hole, right? When you could have spent traded at 0.01 for a year or two, yeah, you're guaranteeing yourself no massive results, but you're guaranteeing yourself, a cheaper cost of admission. This way, when you do get profitable, you can now approach the market with a bigger army, with a bigger account, right? Any battle you approach with a bigger army, it favors you more. Yeah, I traded all the pairs. As I was building slowly, the news got to me. It's all right. It's that news trade, even if you won it, it wasn't going to change your life. A setback on a trade is not life-changing. Isn't the same as one lot. The psychology and pressure is very different. It's not about the psychology and pressure, and it's about learning this, getting it down packed, right? Like if I had a chance to attend Harvard, at $10,000 a year instead of $100,000 a year, I would do that, right? That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to attend this trading school while spending as least as possible on education. Once it's not you're profitable in 0.01. Yeah, once you can rinse and repeat daily, exactly, Dominic, rinse and repeat. If you can repeat it daily, then you'll have the confidence to raise your lots. You won't need to ask me, should I raise my lot sizes? It'll be clear and obvious to you, right? Until it's clear and obvious to you that, hey, this is now where I got to turn it up. You're not there yet. Just keep paying as little as possible for the lessons you learn. Ropes, market chart, everything. You shouldn't be trading anything more than a 0.01 if you're learning or if you're not going on winning streaks. Yeah, and the key is not to also sit and trade here, right? You took a loss, so you're going to sit here and trade the rest of the day because you want to find your edge, right, in the high volume times, right? So trading here at 1 p.m. or at noon, right, at 2 p.m. is not beneficial to you long term. What's beneficial to you long term is focusing on the high volume time here between 8 and 11 a.m., right? And really learning this this time frame, right? Really learning the New York session, the peak of the New York session. So you don't want to sit here and trade the rest of the day, but what you want to do is make sure you show up once again from 8 to 10 or 8 to 11 a.m. Eastern, so you can start recognizing what the market does at that specific time, right? Knowing that that's the volume time and how you can adjust to it. It's not the more time you spend on the charts, it's the time spent on the charts at the same exact time every day that's going to show you the opportunity. That's going to show you the edge. It's not like, oh, I'm going to sit here the rest of the day and I'll see gold do this. No, gold will repeat what it does from 8 to 10 Eastern, tomorrow 8 to 10 Eastern, and the day after that 8 to 10 Eastern. A 4-hour reflip bullish, broke its high. This is just an ugly candle, right? Look at this hourly candle. No bottom wick, no top wick. Humans function best in routine. Yeah, and the thing is, routine will let you recognize when something's out of place. If you do something constantly and consistently, right? You get a read on it. You kind of understand how it behaves, and then when it does something different, you're like, all right, things are out of place here, right? So you'll have tells in the market because you're used to seeing a certain thing at a certain time. But if you end up here, at noon Eastern one day and then 8 a.m. Eastern the next day, and then all of a sudden you're trading Asian session, you're not learning how the market behaves at those specific times. So the discovery of your edge will be that much more difficult. It's a nice 4-hour flip, but I just don't trust it. Do you watch the market while not streaming or trading? No, I don't look at the market. Once I'm off the charts here, I won't look at it. So what I do is I'll probably rewind this and let the market play the news once again, just to see what I could have done, or see if my thought process changes as I'm seeing it play out again. Right? It's like asking somebody to read your term paper. Like, a lot of times they'll read through it and they'll find mistakes that you haven't found, or if you reread your term paper. So that's what I'm going to do with news here. I'm going to see if I'll rewind it, right? I'll go to replay mode. I'll go to that time and I'll rewind how it played out, and if I'm thinking something different or if I'm noticing something different. And that's gonna be it for me, and I probably won't look at the markets till Asian session, right? I know I won't look at the MT5 term, and I won't look at anything because it's irrelevant at that point. It does nothing for me. Money actually to play now? Yeah. 0.01. Get a little winning streak going. You raise that. Is it raining outside? Yeah. How much was that rebreak? 11. That's a lousy closure. Yeah. Market's too dynamic. Feel like I got it all figured out and bam. Oh, well, that's Forex for you. That's trading for you. Yeah, if you need to ask how much you should be risking, you should be at 0.01, right? Your data, your sample size, your positions that you've taken previously, your record will make it clear and obvious to you when you should be like, all right, I need to put a little more on this. And if you're not sure when, then you just haven't hit that point where you're confident in the fact that this is a good time to raise the lots. That's an ugly 15 closure. There's no top wick here. Close respecting this little 15 level. Yeah, I'm not looking for anything right now. Maybe if this 30 closes and we get a nice top wick, a bottom wick on the next 30. Let's wait for that. Let's wait this 30 out. Let's see if we can get that. Let's see if we can have any positions on the next 30 to come up to the top of the range, or will it just drive through right now? Don't increase lot size, increase the balance. Yes, that's what I've been doing for the last 2.5 years, right? I haven't increased my lots. Balance has gone up, and in turn, my risk has gone down. Think the 15 will drive up again or exit? Well, the way the previous 15 closed, I would say this 15 will flip bearish, the way we've closed on the previous 15. But if we get a 30 closure and we get a top wick, then right, if we close here, we get a bottom wick. Look, this is an area we tend to drive up from. Right, look at all these bottom wicks, this area right here. Look at all these wicks, right? This is the area. You come up here, that one drove all the way up. Right, this one came up here from this wick. Up here, so I mean the lowest common denominator, right? The point that they all have in common is at the very least here. So can we get a wick to there? A wick fill to there? I'd want a 30 to pull back, right? We'd want the 30 to leave a top wick. Yeah. Broke these highs here. This is clean. Around the daily flip here. Kind of funky here because the daily's created a lower high and a lower low, broke the previous daily low. I was that guy 2 years ago asking how much I should risk. Yeah, you realize that it'll be presented to you. Like life and experience will clearly present you the opportunity and tell you, hey, now's the time. 30 flip, more than 80 pips away. No, you're not looking for the 30 flip. You're not looking for this flip here. This was a hold of support. It's not heading back down there. Nearly lost your shit today? Okay. Still alive. Mosquito bite on my back. How the fuck? Eight minutes here for the 30 closure. You want a top wick. Ideally, you also want the 15 to close bullish here, because the bullish closure on the 15 will close it above this most recent level. What a great stream. Yeah, I'm really happy with how today went down. If you just showed up here, we're waiting on this 30 closure. It's going to be probably the last closure we're waiting on here. It's either going to set up for some more buys, right? Once again, you'll play the closure and the relationship of this candle and the next one, with this one leaving a top wick. All right, what are you doing? Right, and some range to fill. And ideally, you get a slingshot off the next candle. Because I want all the time frames to line up. So I said 15 bullish. 15 bullish gives us a closure above this 15 resistance. Gives you a 30 bullish closure above the most recent, above the overall, back into range. Oh, excuse me. 5 minutes here. 5 more minutes. Excuse me. Take a break, have a Kit Kat. Hey, Eddie, back from the cruise. Back from Jamaica. Appreciate that. Well, if it closes like this, we'll call it a session. You brought back Jamaican rum? Or how about that kaya? How about that weed? Oh, doesn't look like we're going to get it on the 30 here. Doesn't look like we're going to close above. Nobody has regular shit? No, that's all they have is regular shit. Just a bunch of Reggie Bush. 100% of all the food, multiple entries. Damn, yeah, pineapples on pineapples at the cruise ship. So, chat, we're looking for this 30 to close above the most recent. If it doesn't close above the most recent and the volume is starting to die down a bit, I think you have your London close as your last bit of volume for the New York session at 11, but it's starting to die down, right? This isn't the peak of New York. So peak of New York has played out 8 to 10, and now you're respecting levels. So typically you'll stay within the range that you're respecting. But is the range here from 73 to 79 or 73 to 88? Yeah, 15's back in range. For some reason, I forgot about closing above or below areas. Remember, we spoke about this yesterday. There's a whole checklist of things that need to happen. And when you're newer, it's a bit harder to keep track of the entire checklist, right? And over time, you learn new concepts. And it's not like you forget the concepts you knew before that on purpose, but you forget about them. You forget to utilize them because there's so much to learn, right? And there's, every day you're picking up more stuff. You're picking up on more things, and it's just human nature. You don't really, you start forgetting what you've learned before that. You don't remember every little detail unless you're constantly applying it, right? It's the application of the knowledge that makes it stick in your head. It's not just reading the book, it's actually applying what's in the book in real life that's going to make it, stick out in your head. And if you're not practicing that application daily, some concepts we don't use every single day. We don't see them daily. We don't need them daily, right? Some things are just, I just think it's a given that people know and understand. But I also have come to the realization that people, because there's so much stuff to learn, they tend to forget previous concepts, even though they're still part of your checklist that you need to go over. Yeah, if you get some things, get caught in the moment, right? You don't really run through an entire checklist of things that you needed. 15 closed back in range. The 30 closed bullish, but it closed bullish below resistance. We're respecting this little area across the board, right? There's a chance it comes down. Now, if it can come down and create a bottom wick for the previous 30 and then flip bullish, so if you can tap 73 area and then flip bullish, you can look to fill this wick to the left. That's your range to fill. That's your advantage point. Right, how much is it to here? And you got exactly 10 pips to come up to resistance. So what you want the hourly here to flip bearish. You want it to flip bearish, not drive, and then re-break the 30 highs, right? So then you have maybe 34 pips here. But be careful. Be careful if you're looking for sells on that hourly flip. Those sells will be short-lived if you flip on the hourly. Because there's, you know, not everything's lining up. Remember we say we want everything to line up? And is this a bottom wick for the 30 or is it top wick for the hourly, right? Which one is it? But if the hourly flips, that's that chance. That gives it a chance to drive. And then if the 30 reflips bullish, then it was a bottom wick for the 30 and not the top wick for the hourly. But not here. Not if it flips bullish right now. If it flips bullish after retesting the lows. If it flips bullish now and comes up, I don't have an edge here. It can, you know, it can come up, flip for 2 pips and drive straight down. But if it's bouncing off this higher time frame support and then re-breaking highs, then I'll say, all right, we're not coming back down there. We just bounced off of there. Right now, we can flip and then still come back down here. Capiche?
Remember it. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't give a fuck.
You make your own rules. Yeah. Very individualized activity. Thanks for all you do, man. Have a belated birthday during new age and take it easy. Yeah. And if it's easy, take it twice. I forgot what movie that's from. Yeah, chat, I think I'm going to call it here. The 30 didn't close above. Yeah, we're coming down for a bottom wick, but bottom wick for the 30 or top wick for the hourly. Need more candles. Need more candles. If I see something, I'll call it in the signal channel. It's a possibility that before 11 we still have one more position, but that will be called in the signal channel if there is one. What do you think? I'm on sell big stop loss and I'm going to let it run till 3 p.m. That doesn't make sense to me. There's got to be a better reasoning than just 3 p.m. Why 3 p.m.? Maybe it makes sense to you. I don't know, but that doesn't really make sense to me. With all due respect. Yeah, chat. Let's call it a session here. Congrats to everybody that showed up, and big dubs if you got something out of the stream. If you found any kind of value in the stream. This was a very valuable stream for me, personally. Congrats to everybody that took all our positions and ended the day up in profits. Mods, thank you so much for helping me run the stream today. Chat, love and wisdom to you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8 a.m. I think I'll run FOMC as well tomorrow at 2, but 8 a.m. for sure we will do this again. All right. Zoom gang, I'll see you guys in the clubhouse. As for me, my time here is up. We've done enough. We've done a lot, right? A lot of value provided. Great discussions today. Really good questions. First trade, not the ideal result, but a lot of value in there. I'll pay 40 pips for the value I've learned today, right? Overall, great day, ended it in profits, and that's the key, right? Just show up every day and win. Your job is show up and win. It doesn't matter if it's 5 pips or 50 pips or 500 pips. Just show up every single day and win. Rinse and repeat is the key to longevity and to being well on your way out of poverty. All right, gang. That's my time. My time is up, and you already know the deal. Just like that, another New York session is in the books. I'll see you guys later, 8 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Enjoy your day.